One. What's good, everybody? We are back. Peach Bowl Champ Edition. It's your host, Jordan. We the champions. And
Yeah, Stat, what's up, man? Okay. I'm also, well, let's change that camera. I'm the other host, Walker.
what's good? Last time, Walker, did you know how many views our last video got?
How many?
84. That's a this the
Those are some championship numbers, I might add.
yes. The Crumby factor, the Wyatt factor really must have
So
played into that.
I'd like to before we get too deep into our recaps, analysis, and whatnot, I would like to say, Jordan, did you ever think when we did this episode last year, the pre-championship pod, that we'd be doing it again this year?
If you told me like a year ago today, so we were probably not, to be particularly honest, because I had zero hope a year ago on this day.
Didn't you pick Bama?
I did, because I had zero hope after the SEC championship game, which segues me to the Peach Bowl game. Let's just get right into that. It segues me because that game felt like it was going to be SEC Championship 2.0, just brilliant quarterback and receivers just cooking us all day to throw. That's what it was looking like. Just CJ chilling there just like Bryson, scrambling out of the pocket, off script play, touchdown. I think that happened probably like once or twice.
Happened twice. Both of Marvin Harrison's touchdowns were just him running around.
Yeah. But a better prediction I had was I kind of was looking at the last episode pod just to see what my prediction was. I low-key nailed it. I said it was going to be stressful. I said 42-38. Now, did I think it was going to be that stressful?
No.
No, that was way too stressful. That was just you can go first. Tell me about your experience, what your thoughts throughout key moments and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching downtown Athens at Cutter's. It was New Year's Eve. I was with a lot of fun people, including Trevor, friend of the pod, my brother. I don't know. I want to say we were having a good time, but yeah, I was biting my fingernails off and hyperventilating most of the time. But yeah, I guess my general thoughts were I didn't think it would be as bad as what I said, but if you go back and watch the whatever preview pod, I definitely mentioned I was like they're better than us at two positions, and it's quarterback and wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be where it hurts, and that's exactly what happened. CJ Stroud dimed us up way more than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, he earned my respect. I thought he was a little overrated.
Agree.
I was a little bit. I'm just thinking classic Ohio State quarterbacks. You know, they're always a little underwhelming, and CJ's no different. But I got to respect it. Got to respect it.
My thing with
he was brilliant.
I don't want to focus too much on the ops here, but I will give compliments when they're due. And my thing with CJ Stroud is I thought his biggest thing, I haven't seen him play too much, right? But I was under the impression that he's a statue kind of player. You know what I mean?
He is. He only ran for like 70 yards the whole year, and he ran for like 80 against us.
I was going to say he showed that he had that escapability and pocket presence that everyone's looking for now since Mahomes, obviously. And I was like, I could honestly, like, you know what I mean? If that's his last game he plays and he put tape on for, I feel like
he helped his stock a lot. Like
I
think he's had the chance to be the number one quarterback taken, but he's definitely the number two. I feel like.
I think
right? Maybe unless the only way is not if everybody falls in love with like Will Levis's pro day or something and he just flies up and goes one or something.
Yeah.
That I mean, do I say it's gonna happen?
Well, it depends on who's picking
but could
one.
I see it? I think
as of right now, there's a chance that the Bears pick one if a couple things happen.
If I'm the Bears, I'm trading that pick. I'm trading the number one pick and just moving back a little bit.
I don't know.
Acquire some stuff.
I take Will Anderson. You're sitting at 1 with the Bears. Unless you want someone to try to jump the Texans.
I don't know. I feel like they got so many. I
It.
guess it depends what they do in free agency, but I feel like they have a lot of holes.
The Bears have a ton of money. I don't want to get
And like you still got Justin
doing
Fields on your.
NFL talk.
Well, you still got. I just think you still got Justin Fields on his rookie contract. You kind of want to surround them with pieces.
They're paying nobody. They don't have anyone on that team that they're paying any money.
Exactly.
Like
no signs of
no one. They would have paid Roku. Well, they wouldn't pay Roku.
Yeah.
Now they're paying no one. So they're a cleaning slate right now. So hopefully, I mean, they'll sign a bunch of. I don't want to talk about the Bears though.
Let's I know we're off track.
Reel it back. Yeah, basically, I like you kind of said, CJ Stroud earned my respect in that game. I mean, he played well, and I don't know, our quarterbacks dueled it out, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things I've heard from multiple people, which I wanted to point out that like a lot of people were like, when you were looking at the stats, you would not have thought that Stetson threw for 4 yards in that game.
Yeah, I think he threw for more yards, right? I don't remember.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but they were pretty similar stats. It's kind of crazy how that works out.
Stetson's pick was bad though, but the rest of the game I didn't think was that terrible.
Yeah, he wasn't terrible, but that third quarter was kind of rough. Yeah,
he had like 3 bad throws that I can remember. He had obviously the pick where I was like, I don't even know what you're looking at.
But that's the thing with Stetson though. He steps up when the time comes.
Right.
He steps up on the biggest stage. I just think he went from that shit show against Georgia Tech. He looked terrible. And followed it up with LSU going 4 touchdowns. He stinks it up against, and same thing with Kentucky before that. He was on a little bit of a spiral too and everything. And then Tennessee too. I think did we have Florida? We did have Florida before them. He didn't look that great against Florida. Steps it up against Tennessee and brilliant. Didn't look that great for 3 quarters. Well, let's just say 2. Like 2 quarters. Down 14, 10 minutes, he steps up, slices and dices. That's the thing about Stet. Say what you want. He's surrounded by the talent. Whatever you want to say. He's not as good, but the dude steps up on the biggest stage. You got to respect that. That's why he was the Heisman finalist. I don't want to hear the crap anymore after that performance.
Yeah.
He deserves to be in New York.
I want to talk a little bit more about Stetson, I think, later, but I still kind of want to focus on the game.
I think I know what you're talking about with that, which I have an opinion. But
yes,
we can continue.
But I just let's go over some of the key moments, and I'm trying to think of the big ones. I mean, I'm going to fast forward to nearish the end. Well, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, what was I going to say? I was going to talk about the just their first third quarter drive for a touchdown when they went up, I think by 11 at that point.
Yeah.
24. That's when I thought it was over, to be particularly honest.
Yeah, especially after
because the defense was just getting sliced. And that's the thing about the defense. They got
and Pod missed 2.
And Hot Pod. Well, that first drive, I was thinking, I'm like, oh, we drove pretty well. And even on that third down, if Stetson handed that off to Kenny instead of keeping himself, Kenny might have got a touchdown.
Yeah, I pointed that out too. That play was on 3rd and 1, I believe.
Yeah, and Stetson kept it himself.
And we ended up losing yards and having to.
It was like that was the play that Stetson was going to keep it no matter what, because if he gave it to Kenny, he had a hole. He could have gotten to the end zone.
Yeah,
and then we missed the freaking field goal.
And I felt like
I'm thinking, we're moving it on them, but we should have got freaking 7, and then they go right back and score.
I felt like we were doing that for a lot of like the beginning of the game. I was like, we seemed to be moving and then not scoring any points because we missed 2 field goals, and then obviously the interception. Did we fumble? I don't think we fumbled.
No, the interception was our only turnover, and then we didn't force any on the other side.
Annoying.
What do you think about everybody crying about the non-targeting call? That was a big play.
I have a confession. I was in the bathroom during that play and I did not see it.
Did you not see a replay?
No.
Well, pull it up right now. We can get your live take.
Actually, wait, no. Yeah, I did see it. I don't think it was targeting. Obviously,
No,
everyone
it wasn't.
thinks I'm biased, but there was no head contact. It was shoulder into the guy's chest, breaking the ball up. It was just a hard hit. What do you want to say?
I agree. I agree with that.
As clean as it gets.
And I couldn't believe everybody was crying like
You
about
want
it.
to let the ball hit his hands first and then
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
well, he stepped out of bounds for one. Before that, and then came back in for a second and or whatever he did, try to catch it. Which
Yeah.
CJ was trying to get him killed. I don't know if he meant to do that or he just didn't get enough like strength or on the
Yeah.
ball to throw it away because that would have been the luckiest shit ever. But Javon Bullard, he's a goat. He's really good. I like him. Um, but that was a huge play. Marvin Harrison obviously gets out for the rest of the game, but I think it's interesting with that too because I think after his second touchdown, I think that was like maybe 10-ish minutes left in the second. I don't think he had a catch after that.
I don't think he did either.
Yeah. So let's not pretend like after, that he was starting to cook us. Now, could he have made a difference? Of course. But get some depth. You're a wide receiver, you.
For sure. And then speaking of our depth and wide receivers, I cannot overstate the importance of AD and Arian Smith
Those guys being back are
coming.
huge.
We see the difference immediately, right? Like
Yeah.
Arian Smith obviously has that like 80-yard touchdown when we really needed it, even if whatever the dude fell over. He got his ankles broken though.
Oh, he there's no way he was catching up to him. I mean, Arian
Yeah.
Smith is the fastest guy on the field.
And then obviously
I
AD got 2 touchdowns, right? Including,
think he only had one.
well, then maybe he had a big play or something. I don't know. But AD had
Yeah,
a great
I mean,
game.
he had a couple catches.
He came through for us right when we needed him, and it was fantastic. I'm so glad that
What
both of
about
them were
the
able to contribute.
what about the play on the fourth down where we threw the Brock and he extended over it and got it? That was a big
Great
play
play.
too.
We didn't get Brock involved as much as I would have liked. Maybe they were
No,
keen in on
but
him.
maybe I mean, yeah. I mean, Darnell being out too. I mean, maybe that would have had the focus on him. Maybe they weren't as
Yeah,
focused on Delp. Somebody I
yeah,
want to talk about too that you don't really hear about, but he played a good game. Kendall Milton. He only got 3 carries, just given how the game went. But those 3 carries, he did pretty well. I mean, I think he
yeah.
had a
And
big run and he had the touchdown as well. He's looking healthy.
I was gonna say definitely since I guess since he came back from his injury, so like pre-injury, we were definitely hating on him. Rightfully so, though. The first half
I
or
think he tweaked something before the season.
I'm all I'm saying is the first
But I
half,
agree. It was
three
terrible.
quarters of the season, he was a liability. He was not good. He just didn't seem like he was running with passion or skill of any kind. I'm sorry, but hey, he's looked fantastic down the stretch. Like you said, he only got a couple carries, but
Kenny has two since his fumble against Florida.
mhm.
He's been balling pretty hard.
Yeah, I really like how Milton's running right now, though, and I think that's something that a big physical, if he runs like it playing against a TCU team, I would love to see him get a little more work. We can get into that game a little more later. Let's talk a little bit about that. The final kind of sequence there.
Okay. Well,
Good
what
stuff.
about first the timeout by Kirby?
Yes, I do want to talk about that. So that timeout comes, we call a timeout on what was it, 4th and 1. Ohio State goes for the fake, and they would have gotten it. But Kirby calls the timeout. They chicken out the next time around. Did you also see that they had 12 men on the
I
field?
was gonna say that. Yeah. So it didn't really. I guess it didn't really matter.
It
But
would have if the refs didn't catch it.
well, you can review that.
Oh, well, still.
So maybe somebody would have noticed that or something, or maybe we would have just got screwed. I don't know, but it worked out. I'm surprised they didn't end up going for it because remember they were going to go for it. Then they called the timeout. Then they had the punt. It was the fake punt timeout, and then they just punted it.
Yeah,
Maybe they should have gone for it.
maybe they should have.
Yeah, but that was
Too
a
late
big
now.
play, and then Arian Smith cooking that one guy that was humongous, as they would say.
Right.
Just totally broke him right back into the game. Ladd gets the 2, which Ladd was obviously still hurt.
Yeah.
Then
Hopefully he's good for Monday.
then CJ had that long run, right? When he had that long run was when I got really pissed. When we were up by 3 or whatever, or down by 3. That pissed me off, and I was thinking we're just gonna let him down and score. But then we got that. I forgot who got a sack, but that sack was huge. Field goal.
Another thing I wanted to bring up, which I also noticed. I noticed that the sacks we got in this game were primarily from like blitzes. We schemed up, which I thought was cool. But I also, I want to see those juicy D linemen getting back there.
D-line didn't have too good of a game.
No, because I think Dumas Johnson was one of those sacks. He came straight up the middle and got Stroud. And then I think another one was Bullard coming off the edge on like a nickel blitz.
Yeah.
But
so
I enjoyed both of them. We need more of that.
How are you feeling with the ball with like 2 minutes left, down 6 with Step? Did you feel confident? How did you?
I felt pretty good. Obviously, I was nervous. I thought that throw over the middle to Kieris down to get us into the red zone was like the best throw of the day, probably.
Yeah, it was a dime ski right over.
That one was so clutch. And then obviously the throw to AD in the corner, Cutters erupted. And of course, me being pessimistic, everyone's just throwing beer everywhere. And I was like, there's 54 seconds left.
I thought the same thing.
They had 2 or 3 timeouts. They have a top 10 pick at quarterback. And in college football, the clock stops at least a little bit when you get a first down.
Oh, yeah,
so I'm like, this is bad news. Everyone's going nuts.
I was hyped that we scored. I didn't know how to feel about trying to waste the clock and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. That always kind of sketches me out a little bit when you try to. And they had timeouts anyways, I guess. But
I still
scored, I'm like, let's fucking go. And then I thought I'm like, still plenty of time.
There was just obviously it's New Year's Eve and it's a playoff game, so Cutters was packed. Trevor was on like the other side of the bar, and I remember pointing to my watch and saying too much time, which I mean, 90% of the time that would have been too much time if they didn't shank the field goal. So
yeah, when then CJ also got another big run, and I was like, wow. Well, when he scored too, when we scored the touchdown, I thought, well, it's Stetson's fault if we lose.
Yeah,
that's literally what I thought. That was my first thought. I was like, Stetson's a goat. I'm like, he proves me wrong every single time because I didn't think we were winning a shootout type game like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I predicted it 38-34 or 41 or 42-38, but I don't know. Just the defense was getting carved up a little too easily in the beginning and everything.
I agree.
So that's what made me sus. But I was like, this isn't his fault. And defense gives up that huge play. And this is what Ohio State did that was dumb. I thought they were closer than they actually were. But they started, just playing for the field goal.
Mm-hmm. And I know Ohio State fans are mad. I think they ran it on that first down.
They did.
I believe.
Yeah.
So and they're super mad about that. They were like, why would we run on first down with 50 seconds left or whatever? And it was like you said, they were playing for the field goal. So
exactly. And I remember I start hearing 10, 9, 8. And I'm like, I didn't even think about it. And I was just like,
no. I was honestly like, everybody shut up.
And I remember having my phone out for the Uber, putting it into Clark and David's place. And then I look up, I see 50-yard field goal. I'm like, that's kind of long. And they shanked the shit out of it. And I was like,
It's
I was
fantastic.
like,
I thought we blocked it. It was so bad.
yeah, I didn't know what the fuck happened. I just thought I'm like, he sold. I started running around PBR. I was like, he sold, he sold, he sold.
It
And
was
then
crazy.
I looked behind me, and Clark had his glasses and his bucket hat on. Ooh, this bucket hat, MC Minor. And Clark and I turned around, I saw Clark. Without even saying a word, we chest bumped. It was pretty hype.
Yeah, Trevor ran over to me and we
Made
had
out.
a brotherly hug, and it was long and passionate. It was like, dang, that was tough. We needed that.
That
But
was,
um
yeah, but
absolutely
it's crazy.
crazy.
It's crazy how like it just like with it was something out of like a movie scene. Like you just hear
It was.
10, 9, 8, and then I'm just looking at my phone, typing in, ready to go. Misses the shot. Oh, fucking shit.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah. So here's what I gotta we gotta address it, okay? There are people on the internet, maybe even some friends of the podcast, that have uttered the words. You ready for this? That Georgia didn't deserve to win this game. What do you have to say about that?
I'll say this. I'll say Ohio State play their best game that they could have played? Yes. If you told me those stats that Marvin Harrison and number two the wide receiver had and Stroh's stats would have said we lost. Ohio State was brilliant. We played our probably C plus B minus game, to be particularly honest. And we were down 11 with 8 minutes left. And all I'm saying is those are the games we lose. We're Ohio State in that situation. And when that has happened, all I've heard is, oh, what a comeback from Bama. How did Tua do it? Jalen Hurts. Oh my God. Nobody talks about, damn, George. That from the media's perspective is all Ohio State this, Ohio State that. Well, how about you give us some praise like you do for Bama and shit? That's all I'm gonna say. That's
I
like
feel
literally the same. Those are the games we were losing before, and it was always the opposite narrative. With that being said, you shouldn't have choked. You choked. That's what champions do.
I agree. I
That,
think I think
you gotta give
deserve
Georgia praise. You gotta give Stetson Bennett praise.
I agree. Deserve is a tricky word, okay? I'm like, you can't tell us we didn't deserve to win. Should we have won given the scenarios, whatever, like
You're up by double
leading up to
digits
that
with 8
kick?
minutes.
Should we have? I don't know. But also, like we mentioned earlier, we missed two field goals, which like that could have been
Darnell
another
got
six
hurt.
points. If we're
Jordan
talking
McKinnon.
hypotheticals, it shouldn't have even
Our
been that
right
close.
tackle was out. Lad McConkey wasn't 100%, so I don't want to hear
Darnell
the Marvin Harrison excuse.
Darnell wasn't playing.
Darnell
Lad
got
got
hurt
hurt.
like in the first quarter. Two like
And Stetson
round one
literally
or two
threw for
picks.
more yards than Stroud.
Our leading wide receiver barely played. I
And like I
mean,
said, Stetson literally threw for more yards. Like we beat them at everything.
yeah,
We lose.
it's a heartbreaker. Don't get me wrong. I would have come out of there if that was like a Georgia scenario and been like classic Georgia or some shit. Like
I definitely
find a
agree.
way to fuck it up. You find a way to fuck it up. You fucked it up. I mean, sucks. That's what
Anyway,
champions do, baby.
now moving on. And what I keep telling people about this game, they're like, whatever. Georgia shouldn't have won. They didn't deserve to win. And I said, guess what? If we go back to back, no one will remember this game,
Exactly.
which is what we want. We
Well,
just
everyone will
you
remember
remember
this
the
game,
champion.
but they'll. I think everybody will remember this game, but maybe the narratives kind of change with like
Exactly.
if you're not an Ohio State fan, I think they'll be
For
like,
sure. Well, that's what I mean. I'm like, yeah, you'll remember it, but it's like, you know, if we throttle TCU or something, no one's gonna be like they don't deserve to be champions. No one's gonna say that.
you would
Not
think.
you would, but
Bama and Ohio State fans have been crying.
I love it.
Pathetic.
Anyway, oh, I'm drinking their tears with my cup.
Yes.
Anyway, let's officially move on to
Oh, I did want to ask. I do have a stat for the Peach Bowl that I want to bring up. Everyone's calling out Keely Ringo, including myself, after that game. But the stats: C.J. Stroud against Georgia in the Peach Bowl, targeting Keely, 6 for 13, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. Targeting anyone else, 17 for 18, 279 yards, and 3 touchdowns. How did that happen?
well, you are adding up every other player on the field.
Well, I'm just saying that. I mean, it seemed
I'm
like
saying
every
it's like one versus 6 total or something.
yeah, but still, like, kind of interesting how everybody else got cooked way worse than like Keely. Like, he didn't do that bad. I think him guarding Marvin Harrison, he only had 1 catch for 16 yards, and that was a touchdown on the off script play.
Speaking of that, and I getting a tad heated. Okay, I got to calm down. To the people that also are saying that Georgia didn't deserve to win this game, two of the Ohio State touchdowns, not saying they don't count, obviously, but they came off of just like running around off script plays.
And they're
That
crying
was
about
14
like
points.
they're crying about holding calls too, which I have seen. The ref didn't give us a holding call either. Refs called like nothing that game.
I like it that way.
But you can see on Stroud's on his run for before the field goal, his long run, there was like 2 holds. Jalen Carter got destroyed.
They were tackling him the whole game.
Yeah. So like, and there was another one on that play too with Ingram Dawkins as well.
Okay, let's officially move on. We got an agenda to push. We're moving on to Georgia, TCU. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season that
Seriously.
this would be our natty? Who would have thought even 4 weeks ago, even that this would be the natty? I feel like this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would agree. That
But
Ultimate Davis.
TCU's magic got them all the way here.
Yeah.
Will their magic run out? I think absolutely it will. I we just outmatched them. We're just bigger and badder and faster and stronger at basically every position. The only way TCU would win this game is, I would say, on the legs of Max Duggan, if he's just scrambling all game.
Well, it's gotta
Or
be like the Michigan game. They get the turnovers, the 2 pick sixes, the 2 stops
yeah,
on the goal line.
but that's what it took to beat
Stuff like
Michigan.
that.
You know what I mean? Which, not taking anything away from him, but like you needed 2 pick sixes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, and then like I forgot about that like fumble on the goal line, on the 1 inch line.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. So I don't know. I think what we don't want in this game is, I feel like we don't want what we did last game. We don't want chaos, and we don't want a shootout. I really think if Georgia can just like control the ball, play their normal game, you know what I mean? Like play bend, don't break, some tough defense. Don't let them run on us. Kind of and then yeah, on the other side of the ball, just play nice, conservative. Let's dink and dunk. I don't care if this game's boring. I'm going for the dub.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pound the rock, control the game. We just have to be in control the whole time. This TCU team thrives off chaos. Okay. They thrive off chaos. No chaos.
Exactly. Don't help them out, kind of thing. And
I
yeah,
just feel
I kind of agree with Duggan with that. Make sure he doesn't run around, which
that's
I think which
that's
could
their
be
only way.
easier because TCU's like wide receivers in a whole are not better than Ohio
They
State's.
have one really good wide receiver.
But they do have Quentin Johnson, who like
Yeah.
is really good potential 1st round pick. So Keely's got his hands full. Show us why you're a 1st round pick here, Keely.
I feel like let's just double him. Let's put Keely on him and then have safety help basically every play on that guy. And we'll figure out everything else.
But I don't think they'll be able to run. Ohio State couldn't run on us, and
No
TCU
one can
starting running back might be out. I feel like I'm expecting the defense to step up a little bit.
I agree.
Like that, I don't think they can be as bad as they were last week. So I think they'll step up a little bit. Now, with that being said, I I think they'll score on us a little bit, but
I
their
do too.
defense, if they win, they'll be the worst defense to ever win a national championship, ever. So I mean, I just don't think they can stop
We,
us much.
we,
I kind of say the opposite without like kind of controlling the game. I mean, obviously you want to, but we can air it out a little bit and score on them, and then I don't know if they can like catch up to us. Basically, it's kind of like my logic.
I like that too. I mean, whatever it takes to get the win. I just want to, and
Like
I don't
Rock,
necessarily.
beat AD, beat Arian.
When I say play conservative, I don't necessarily mean like don't chuck it a lot kind of thing. I just want like nothing too dumb or risky. Like I feel like we could run our whatever our normal Brock Bowers H back kind of. I don't even know. Just dump it off to him for 4 or 5 yards. Let him do something. I
Yeah.
feel. I feel like I feel good, and I'm trying not to be overconfident, but
Me neither, because like, well, if you listen on the pod, I thought Michigan was going to blow them out. And at this point, say what you want if they got lucky or if they were not or what. I mean, it felt like they were in control of that game. You can say Michigan had their mistakes. What I said earlier about the 2 pick sixes and the 2 goal lines getting 0. But TCU had control of that game, to be honest. I mean,
I think
they made the stops and they clutched it out. And Michigan tried to get their little comeback together, but it was obviously too late. But
I think
you gotta
Doug.
respect them. They're in the national championship.
I agree, and I'm trying. Like I said, I'm trying not to be too confident because I said it in the last pod. They have a weird voodoo magic to them. Don't know what it is, but
Oh no!
What?
Family that owns Georgia mascot Uga X says long distance will be too difficult for the 9-year-old English bulldog. He's not going to LA.
We'll be okay. We'll be there in spirit. We'll be okay. This is big news, though. Actually, I'm trying to keep my composure. Anyway, but yeah, I think I don't know. I think Duggan just complements that team so well. Like you said, their defense isn't amazing, but it's kind of like if you score on them, Duggan's just going to answer.
I feel like TCU is kind of to Ohio State as Michigan is to us. Like they play similar, but like we're a better version.
Yeah.
Ohio State would be a better version of TCU. But that's to say, TCU potentially has the formula. I mean, LSU threw all over us. Ohio State threw all over us. I mean, TCU is definitely capable of doing it.
Yeah, I think I mean, keys to the victory are like you always say are going to be that turnover battle. If we can get a pick or two, maybe a fumble.
Can't be losing the turnover battle like 3-0 or 4.
Yeah, for sure. Like because this team can score points. So kind of like what you said, I think we just when we get the ball, we're gonna have to be scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can't be 3-and-outing on this team. We have to get the ball, hopefully chew a bunch of clock, and then slam dunk it.
I think it's similar to what the Ohio State key was with the. I felt like if we started off fast, like 14 or 10-0 or 17-7 or whatever, we would be good because then we can start controlling the game.
I agree.
And everything. Exactly, and I say that, which obviously didn't happen because Ohio State started off pretty fast. And so I say that's pretty similar like the TCU game. I mean, like don't have them hang around and believe. I mean, and even with that too, why I feel a little bit confident. We're pretty good if we're up because TCU is a comeback team. They weren't this past week, but they've had like 9 comebacks. Like nine of their wins have been comebacks. I feel like we're
I think I saw the stat
running the ball. We're like it'll limit the possessions and not give them as much of a chance to come back.
Well, yeah, That's what I keep saying. That's what I mean by like control. Like it has to be. It's up to us. We got to beat ourselves. And then
On
kind of
paper.
like what you were saying about I think they had the other stats, something like they're 5-0 when trailing at the start of the fourth quarter or something like that.
It's
So
crazy. That's
it
what
is.
I'm saying. Like, does the magic run out? Because let's be honest, basically this whole season we've been waiting for TCU's first loss. Oh, it's gonna be against
Kansas.
Oklahoma. Oh,
I
it's
thought it
gonna
was
be
going to be
against Texas.
Kansas.
It's gonna be
Remember?
Kansas State. It's gonna be Kansas. It's gonna be whoever. It felt like every week it felt like it's coming up, and it finally did against Kansas State in the Big 12 championship. Didn't really matter, but then you think, okay, now the Magic, and they came back in that game too, and barely lost. They were a yard away because remember they went for it on fourth and goal in overtime, didn't get it. K State
Yeah.
gets the field goal. So
I want. I feel
we
like I
thought it
have
was
to.
over against Michigan, and they won that too. So
I think the eternal struggle is the half of me that's like, you have to respect their ability to do that and do whatever you can to not let it happen,
mhm.
you know? And then the other half is like, I don't know,
On paper, we should
might do it anyway. Exactly.
on paper, but buddy, football on played on paper.
There you
Like,
go.
hey, we've seen it before. They could. I mean, biggest spread in BCS or calls playoff history. But we've seen crazy upsets in our day. I mean, college football's magical like that.
I think Kirby's going to have the guys ready. I think like what you said, they are going to score on us. I feel like they'll put up 21, 24, you know what I mean? But I feel like we'll hang 40.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of my logic as well.
just get the win.
Exactly. Just get the win. That's all we care
There,
about.
and I'd prefer not to stress out as
Yeah,
much
I yeah, I did enough
last
stress.
week.
I did enough stressing last week. That's kind of my logic.
Yeah, that was terrible. Can we just make it look easy, or at
Exactly.
least relatively easy?
Let's just be up 45-0 at half.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Then
So
watch TCU have the ultimate comeback and win
let's
46 to 45.
let's just say we do win. We win. We're back to back. Dawg Dynasty begins. First back to back since 11 and 12 Alabama. Fourth team since like the 90s to do it. You would argue ours is harder because we had to play an extra game.
Yep.
Where does Stetson Bennett rank in all-time greatest dogs?
All-time greatest dogs?
Football players.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely. I was thinking about this before the pod when I was reflecting, and I think Stetson, honestly, even if Stetson loses or whatever, we lose this game, I still think Stetson's probably on our Mount Rushmore, aka our like
But
top.
we win. Is he better than Herschel? That's basically where I'm getting at. Like, not better, but is he like the greatest dog ever?
I would say yes. Legacy wise, he has the best story.
That's what
You
I'm
know what I
saying.
mean? And then two championships.
Back to back. The legendary performances in the clutch time and everything. Herschel's better. Let's not get it twisted.
I was gonna say Herschel might be
But
like the best
but
college
talent
athlete of
doesn't
all time.
always mean greatest. Just the legacy, I think, might be just a little more. Now, let's just say Carson Beck wins two national championships, or like Gunnar Stockton wins
But
two.
but
Would that kind of demean Stetson a little bit?
I don't think
You can
so. I
argue
feel like
that.
Stetson would have been the first to do it for us, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
but I get that. I've said this before, but like if Stetson were to win, he'd be the AJ McCarron or AJ McChicken to
I
Georgia.
think it's a little different, to be quite honest.
Really?
I do. I feel like he's in the past, well, whatever, 2-ish years ago and partially last year, I definitely thought, you know, that we were winning in spite of Stetson kind of thing. Like kind of what you're saying, like the team around him is so good that all he has to do is distribute basically and we will win. But honestly, this season it has felt like
He's
a
taking the
lot of
next
it is.
step.
I agree.
Oh,
I
and
think
by
a
the
lot of
way,
it
the
is
people
on
that are
him.
complaining about Stetson being 25, Hendon Hooker's like 25 too. So
Yeah, I don't know.
Why people
Brandon Weedham was 28.
everybody's acting like this was like this is a first time thing. I think Brandon Weeden, that Florida State quarterback that won the Heisman at 28. Like, this happens.
Yeah. And I'd also, what was I going to say? Oh, so if
But
age,
I was gonna
it's not like he's athletically superior either, being
yeah.
older. I don't know.
Well, and here's my thing too. I'll
Are you
say
trying to tell me that Tom Brady at 45 years old has an advantage over everyone because he's 45 and he's 20 years older than everyone else playing? No.
where's that complaining? But my thing is too, he's probably playing the second most competitive football behind the NFL. With the SEC and Ohio State and all that kind of stuff. It's not like he's playing in the Pac-12, or to be
And he
honest.
hasn't broken any rules.
But he's in the SEC. So let's not pretend like he's going up against a bunch of stupid 19-year-olds. These 19-year-olds are starting in the XFL and shit like that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going up against CJ.
He's going up against top 3, whatever, like first, second, third round draft picks.
He's going up against Will Anderson and shit like that. Like, it's not like he's playing bums. I don't think there'd be one football player that he played and was like, yeah, the only reason they won is because Stetson's 25. Nobody's saying that.
For sure. Like I said, especially when you get above like whatever 20-ish, is it really giving you an advantage at all athletically? You could say it gives you a mental advantage, maybe, but he's not breaking any rules. I don't understand the argument. And like you said, it's happened many times before. People are only mad because he's on top of the college football world right now.
Exactly. But yeah, kind of goes back. Anyways, back to the greatest dog thing. I don't know if he would be, but I would say he has an argument. He has a case. He has a strong case. But yeah, 100% he's already on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing. Is I was like, who knows where you rank among the top 4-ish, but he's on there, and I don't think you could ever take him down, to be honest. So
no,
go ahead and etch his face on the side of the mountain because it's not coming down unless he does something really bad. Actually,
yeah. Well,
if he murders somebody, yeah, maybe cover that up.
Maybe
He shouldn't though.
But he's a go. He proves me wrong every time. I need to stop doubting him. But the last drive, I did feel decently confident in him.
Well, all right.
Yeah, let's get into the picks. For pick, what are you feeling? I'm just saying, in a way, I'll say this first. If Georgia didn't win the national championship, I'd say I would want TCU to win the national championship. Just not against us. Because
I know what you mean.
Knock on wood, we would never be seeing the end of that. I mean, it would be probably the biggest upset in definitely college football playoff history. And probably the biggest upset in, I don't even know. I mean, in a while.
I would agree.
One of the great David versus Goliath stuff, but
I definitely agree. So we can't let it happen. We gotta squash them.
But
we have to ruin their dreams.
Score prediction. Let's do it.
I think it'll be about 42-24-ish. Hopefully, what I would like to happen is for it to be about 38-13.
Yeah.
Like that's where I would like to be, but I have a feeling that we're gonna have to step on the gas a little bit, score a little more.
They're gonna show up. I mean, I don't think they're just happy to be there. I mean, they're gonna.
Oh, I agree. And
they got
nothing to
NFL
lose,
players.
but they're all
NFL players
right now. Yeah, they got nothing to lose. They got all heart. They are gonna give us 110%.
Yeah, and I just think
we can't be flat.
Them playing similar to Ohio State, got a great quarterback, got a great receiver, very good offense.
different kind of quarterback
You
though.
know,
Which is,
but like still one of the best quarterbacks in the
I
country.
know. Which
That's
I
how, just how just how the last 2 weeks or 2 games has gone. I'll say we win. I say the Dawg Dynasty begins. We're the new standard of college football. Stetson is the new GOAT. I'll say it's 42. I think we score on them. I'm not really sure how much they can stop us. Just like we discussed, do good with the turnovers. And I say they put up points on us. I'll say 42. I'm thinking either 28 or 31, so I'll say 30.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean that's literally right at the Vegas spread. It's 12.5. But I mean, I, I I mean, there's a path where I can see him win, but I think it's just like we'll win by 2 scores.
Yeah.
But like,
Okay.
would I be surprised if we only win by 7? Honestly, not at all. But
No. I just don't. I don't want it to
I
come
think
down to
Vegas
that.
kind of did it right. I with like 12.5, I guess. You're kind of at that point just saying like, is it going to be stressful or not at
Right.
that kind of range?
Well,
I think
like
it'll
I
be
said,
sort of stressful.
I don't want it to come down. I don't want it to come down to one score though. That's what I'm saying.
I
Is
think I think we'll get up by like. I think they try to make a little bit of a comeback, but it's like just not enough.
yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be like neck and neck and then we pull away. I think we'll be like kind of like at that boundary of like we're stopping a score away from blowing the door open, but they keep on hanging around a little bit. And then there's just not enough time. And then we're like, yay.
I don't care how we do it. It's how
Exactly. It doesn't matter how we do it. All that matters is get the dub.
all matters is I get another Coke bottle, get another jacket. I made a I was kind of joking, but kind of not. I have a really nice like 2021 or does it say 2022? No, this is 2021, right? Or last year. Even though the game was played in 2022, it's a 2021
I think it's
championship.
2021 season.
Gotcha. Okay. So it says 2021 national champions on it. And I wear it so much that it's already starting to peel a little bit.
Oh no.
And I just need another one.
Yeah.
I'll get a 2022 one.
Let's go.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's
There's a
about it.
lot. There's a lot. There's all the narratives will be on our side. Kirby has the potential next GOAT, us being the next standard, Stetson going being an all timer. Back to back national championships. Not a lot of quarterbacks have done that. So he would be an all timer. Just all the narratives will point towards us. So let's go out and
Ooh, speaking of going out, I will be in Athens.
I will not.
It's maybe a bad idea. I don't know. I'm literally going to leave after work on Monday, drive to Athens, watch the game, spend the night in the hotel room, wake up early, and drive all the way back before work on Tuesday morning.
I
So
respect the dedication. I don't have
here's my thing. I was obvious.
work at home.
I was a student. I was a student during our 2017 loss. We were one play away, in overtime from celebrating in the streets. Okay. This is the last thing before we go. This is my story
Your
to end it.
monologue.
This is my monologue to end it. Okay. One play away. What happened? Obviously, 2nd and 26. Tua
Well,
hits
Tyler Simmons onside.
There's a lot of stuff. I'm saying the last play, 2nd and 26, whatever. Tua hits Devontae Smith back of the end zone, and all I remember, and I still remember, and I'm still mad at them about it, even though I'm not as mad anymore because we won. But I just remember everyone left downtown. I was watching in a bar. No one said a word. It was dead silent. No one's screaming. You kind of think they'd be screaming, cussing. No. Everyone's dead silent, and everyone just walked back to their cars or their apartment or wherever, frat house, I don't know. And I remember being like, we were so close to partying in the streets. You know what I mean? Like
It's just,
we
it's just a completely
were
different
one
vibe.
play away
Literally
from
the
those
opposite.
cameras where people are like, there's so many people in the streets, they're climbing up fence posts, and
Yeah, I
you're
was
like, oh,
there.
this is the view from downtown Athens. Oh
I was
my God.
there.
You were there too?
for this past year, I was in Athens for the Natty,
That's nice.
so I know like what the vibe would have been like.
All I'm saying is I want that back. I
Fair.
want
It is
to
your
right
event.
that wrong. I want that moment for myself. I want to celebrate in the streets with the great people of Athens.
That's how
Our
I felt
fans.
last year. That's why I wanted to go to Athens. I'm like, it's a redemption story from 2017 because I was in my apartment and then proceeded to break two PS4 controllers. But it's okay because I got the flood in the streets the next year, and I hope you do too.
We're gonna do it. Okay, that's about it for me.
You gotta do it. But yeah, that's it for me. If you made it this far, comment MC Minor.
Ooh, yeah.
If he inspired the Dogs this for the Ohio State game. So yeah,
Alrighty.
comment that.
Hopefully, we'll see you next time to do a. I'll just be straight honest. If we lose, we're not doing
Yeah,
it.
I was thinking that too. I was like, what? Well, you might
If
not
we win,
because
if we win, we'll do a celebration episode, and quite honestly, after that, actually, never mind. We'll do an
so
NFL
playoffs.
playoff. Okay,
Yeah,
we
I
still
want
we
to do.
still got we still got time left,
I still want
and
to
then
do.
we have a little, and then we'll probably take a little break. Then we'll do our mock draft episode
Yes.
right before the draft, and then we'll break for the season.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right.
That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and send the link to your grandma. I don't even know. Make her a YouTube account.
User views. We're trying to one up last video. We're going for 100.
Going for 100.
All right.
100 views special. Okay, bye.
Peace.